Brandon Knox Photography and Video.
Alright, let's see how we gonna do this tonight. Let's see. I'm live on TikTok. So we just going all the way. Straight up. We're going all the way tonight. I'm live on TikTok and I'm recording this whole thing with my camera. You know, for another episode of the Brandon Knox Show. Spirit talking, ghost hunting in the 504. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really came up with an official name for it. I'm gonna just say ghost hunting. The Brandon Knox Show, ghost hunting. You know what I'm saying? Let me put this right here. Give me a second. Let's see. Second right here. It's hella windy out here too. It is windy, ladies and gentlemen. It is 11:11 p.m. We are here in the Big Easy. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do a little ghost hunting and all that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what's gonna happen. So I invite everybody to come along for the ride. I like to wait till I get at least 100 people up in here so I can start. But yeah, it's definitely about to go down. We're gonna make this fun. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make this real fun. You know, I probably can't be on here long because my phone is at 41%. But we're gonna get what we can get out of that 41%. Straight up. Yeah, man. So it's all my fault. It's my fault. I should have charged my charge. I should have brought both of my chargers with me. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start bringing both my chargers with me, and you know, so I don't have to worry about not having a battery. I was charging up my gimbal earlier when I was at work, and that took a lot of my power out of my charger. But it's cool. What's up, everybody? We live on TikTok right now. The Brandon Knox Show, ghost hunting in the 504. I like that. It has a ring to it. Ghost hunting in the 504. It sounds like hip hopish, you know. Just say. I think that's a flag. It's a flag making that noise. But that's another thing. I've been back home, yeah. You know, been back. You know what I'm saying? So wait until we get 100 people up in here. We at 94. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, YouTube and all that good stuff. Straight up. So, alright, we at 100. So I do my intros, you know what I'm saying? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Brandon Knox. I do something called the Spirit Talker. The Spirit Talker is a paranormal research device that connects the human world with the spiritual world, vice versa. So if this is not something for you, just stick around. You might like it. You know, definitely something to experience. You know, because not a lot of people doing this, especially this color. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it is. So since we still got 100 people up in here, over 100 people, I like to know where all my people is tuning in from. So put your city and state in the comments. City and state, city and state, city and state. Put your city and state in the comments right now. Who we got up in here? Who we got? We got the 504 in the building. New York City, Greensburg, Brooklyn, 7th Ward. Who else we got? The 225, Los Angeles in the building. Memphis, Killeen, Texas. NOLA, 17th in the building. We got Texas in the building. Who else we got? Keep them coming, y'all. Don't be shy, rep your hood. La Place, we got the 8th Ward in here. Uptown, Maryland. See, all over. Got Maryland in the building. Who else we got? Is that everybody? 9th Ward, we got Atlanta up in here. We got Houston. We got Houston up in here, y'all. La Place, of course. What's up, Slim? Kentucky, Florida. Well, Kentucky and then Florida. There's no such thing as Kentucky, Florida. So I was just reading them too fast, you know. It's cool. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? About to get it in with this ghost hunting. You know what I'm saying? I got 40% on my phone. We about to jump into it in a minute. Is that everybody? We got the 7th Ward in the building. I think that's everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. If you are ready for the Spirit Talker, put yes or no in the comments. I'm a little under the weather, but it's cool. I'm out here. I'm gonna get it in. Yes, 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 yes. All them yeses coming through. Straight up. But it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. We are turning on the Spirit Talker. I got my camera recording me, and I got y'all on live. We about to get it in right now. Spirit Talker is loading right now. Let's get it. Let me turn this thing all the way up too. I don't know Eddie at home, but it's just me. I told y'all I still like to do the Spirit Talker by myself, you know, sometimes. All right, I just turned on the Spirit Talker. We in here.
My name is Walter.
Oh. What's up, Walter? What's going on? What's going on with you, Walter? Said children are playing. It said children are playing. We going over here by the Superdome right quick. Going over here by the Superdome. Eleanor. Got Eleanor in the building. Y'all say what's up to Eleanor. All right, so we're right here by the Xavier College of Medicine. All right, going up this way right quick. Like I said, my phone is at 40%, so we're gonna end it when it gets down to like 10%. Straight up. So we're gonna get what we can get, y'all.
I am the darkness here.
The darkness. I don't see too much darkness here. I see the light. Don't stop, because I'm getting closer.
I'm still around.
Oh, my bad. I'm still around. Where's it coming from? Let's see if we can find it. Must be like right here.
You are generous.
They was going ham. All right, so this over here is Champion Square. The Champion Square. Check it out. Iron Age? What does that mean? What is Iron Age? Iron Age.
A man attacks people.
What man? That man better leave us alone.
Hatred.
Who hating? What you talking about hatred? Where that came from? Check it out, y'all. The beautiful Superdome. See if we can pick up over here. They got all this right here. That's what it is. So we're going down now. Just getting a little filming in. I don't know why the Spirit Talker just quiet all of a sudden. Guess what, y'all? The Spirit Talker done turned off. How'd that go? Alright, we're gonna post up right here right quick. Yeah, the Spirit Talker quiet. I wonder why. This is the Tom Benson Tower right here. Matter of fact, we should do an audio. Let's do an audio right quick, y'all.
The Tom Benson Tower, standing prominently at 1450 Poydras Street in the heart of New Orleans' Central Business District, is a 26-story skyscraper that reaches a height of 406 feet. Originally opening in 1989 as the CNG Tower, it was later known as the Dominion Tower before being purchased in 2009 by the legendary late New Orleans Saints owner Tom Benson. Following its acquisition, the high-rise underwent significant redevelopment to become a crucial anchor for the localized sports and entertainment district. Today, it stands adjacent to Champion Square in the Caesars Superdome, serving as a bustling commercial hub that houses corporate offices, including major administrative branches of the Ochsner Health System and the local Fox affiliate television station WVUE. Despite its sleek, modern glass and steel facade, the skyscraper is deeply embedded in a city known worldwide for its rich tapestry of ghost stories, voodoo lore, and paranormal activity. While New Orleans is famous for the historic, centuries-old haunts of the French Quarter, modern structures like the Benson Tower are not exempt from the city's supernatural reputation. The land upon which the Central Business District sits carries centuries of layered history, moving from swampy terrain to early settlements, transport lines, and commercial hubs. Paranormal enthusiasts often note that towering modern structures can act as conduits for spiritual energy, trapping the residual echoes of the past within their concrete foundations and steel frames. Local folklore and urban legends regarding the tower frequently center around the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Before Tom Benson bought and revitalized the property, the building suffered severe damage during the storm and sat abandoned and decaying for years. During this period of dark, hollow vacancy, locals and urban explorers reported an eerie, oppressive energy emanating from the shattered windows of the tower. Rumors began to circulate about spectral figures pacing the upper floors at night and strange, unexplainable lights flickering in a building that completely lacked electrical power, leading many to believe that the trauma of the storm had left a permanent spiritual scar on the structure. Beyond the modern trauma of Hurricane Katrina, the supernatural rumors surrounding the Benson Tower are heavily tied to the ancient, tumultuous history of New Orleans soil. Long before skyscrapers redefined the skyline, this region was plagued by yellow fever epidemics, fires, and rapid, often hazardous urban expansion. Paranormal researchers suggest that the construction of massive foundations for buildings like the Benson Tower disrupts old, forgotten burial sites or areas where untold historical tragedies occurred. This disruption is said to stir up residual hauntings, causing spirits from the 18th and 19th centuries to latch onto the contemporary architecture that displaced them. Within the tower itself, security guards, late-night office workers, and maintenance staff have occasionally shared whispered accounts of classic paranormal phenomena. Witnesses have described sudden, unnatural drops in temperature in localized spots, the distinct sensation of being watched while walking down empty corridors, and the sound of disembodied footsteps echoing through the stairwells after hours. Some employees working late shifts on the upper floors have reported hearing muffled whispers and the distinct rustle of papers when no one else was present, fueling the office lore that a few spectral tenants have taken up permanent residence alongside the corporate workforce. While skeptics attribute these eerie experiences to the natural shifting of a massive building, the hum of heavy HVAC systems, and the psychological effects of working late in a quiet high-rise, the stories persist as a testament to New Orleans' cultural identity. In a city where the line between the living and the dead is famously thin, even a corporate symbol of renewal and commerce like the Tom Benson Tower cannot completely escape the supernatural mystique. Whether fueled by the lingering trauma of natural disasters, ancient disruption of the land, or the vivid imagination of its nocturnal occupants, the tower remains an intriguing modern chapter in the city's endless book of ghost stories.
There you have it. Let's keep going towards we can also do an audio for the Superdome as well, because I'll be covering some of the same ground that I covered on my live videos, but more so now since I have my camera. So yeah, I'm putting this on YouTube. I want good professional footage on YouTube. That's that. Some good footage right quick. Straight up. Give you a nice view. Right here. Nice view of the Superdome. Straight up.
13.
13 what? Matter of fact, I do want to come over here some more. Into the high ground. At least. I guess right here is good. Right here. Perfect. Alright, so we're gonna get some information about the Superdome, and
Don't leave us.
the Spirit Talker said
The Caesar Superdome, an iconic fixture of the New Orleans skyline since its opening in 1975, stands as one of the most architecturally significant and culturally resonant stadiums in the world. Originally conceived by political strategist Dave Dixon and brought to life by local modernist architects, the massive domed structure was built to establish New Orleans as a premier destination for major entertainment and sporting events, most notably serving as the home of the NFL's New Orleans Saints. Spanning over 52 acres and reaching a height of 273 feet, its steel frame and expansive lamella roof represented a monumental feat of 20th century engineering. Throughout its history, the venue has hosted numerous Super Bowls, Final Four tournaments, and historic concerts, embedding itself deeply into the identity of the Crescent City as a place of celebration, resilience, and intense community pride. Beneath the celebratory atmosphere of the stadium, however, lies a persistent lore of paranormal activity, with many believing the Superdome to be profoundly haunted. Superstition has surrounded the site since its construction, largely due to the urban legend that the stadium was inadvertently built over the Girod Street Cemetery, a historic and poorly maintained 19th century burial ground. While historical records indicate the cemetery was actually located a few blocks away and officially deconsecrated and cleared in the 1950s, the narrative of displaced souls stuck to the venue. Decades of eerie encounters reported by overnight security guards, janitorial supernatural. The haunting tales of the Superdome took on a much darker and more tragic dimension following the catastrophic events of Hurricane Katrina in August 2005. When the Category 3 storm made landfall, the city's levee system failed, plunging 80% of New Orleans underwater and trapping tens of thousands of residents who had no means of evacuation. The Superdome, designated by local officials as a refuge of last resort, suddenly became a crowded sanctuary for over 30,000 displaced citizens. Designed to withstand high winds, the stadium's roof quickly failed under the pressure, ripping open to expose the frightened evacuees to the elements while water poured into the upper levels, setting the stage for a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented scale. Inside the dome, conditions rapidly deteriorated into what many survivors described as a living nightmare, creating a fertile ground for the intense emotional energy often associated with hauntings. With the city's infrastructure completely compromised, the stadium lost primary power, leaving the cavernous interior cloaked in stifling darkness, save for a few emergency lights. The air conditioning failed, causing temperatures and humidity inside the crowded arena to soar to unbearable levels. Furthermore, the water supply was cut off, and the plumbing system completely failed, resulting in overflowing toilets and an overwhelming stench that filled the facility, creating an environment of profound physical suffering and psychological terror. The despair within the Superdome was compounded by a severe shortage of essential supplies, medical care, and security. Evacuees were forced to ration what little food and water were available, while a makeshift medical triage area struggled to cope with the elderly, the sick, and those suffering from severe dehydration or lack of critical medications. Amid the chaos, rumors of widespread violence, sexual assaults, and armed gangs ran rampant, fueled by the darkness and a lack of reliable communication with the outside world. Though later official investigations revealed that many of these extreme reports of lawlessness were vastly exaggerated or unverified, the pervasive atmosphere of fear, helplessness, and abandonment by the government left a deep collective trauma on everyone trapped inside. Tragically, several individuals lost their lives inside the Superdome during the week-long siege, giving rise to specific ghost stories linked directly to the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Official reports confirmed at least 6 deaths within the complex. Some succumbed to natural causes or medical emergencies aggravated by the extreme heat and lack of care, while at least 1 individual died by suicide, leaping from an upper deck of the arena. The spirits of these victims are rumored by paranormal believers to still linger within the stadium's walls, unable to move past the terror of their final days. Some stadium workers have claimed to hear disembodied crying or whispers in the specific sections where the triage units were set up, attributing the sounds to the lingering anguish of those who suffered there. Following the evacuation of the stadium and the eventual receding of the floodwaters, the Superdome underwent a massive $336 million restoration project that served as a symbol of the rebirth of New Orleans. The building was completely gutted, sanitized, and retrofitted with a new, stronger roof and state-of-the-art amenities, reopening in September 2006 to a triumphant, emotionally charged Saints football victory. Despite the physical transformation and the celebratory atmosphere that returned to the stands, the memories of Katrina could not be completely erased. For many locals and sensitive visitors, the vibrant energy of the games is accompanied by a heavy solemnity, as the stadium remains a permanent monument to a national tragedy and the lives that were disrupted or lost within its confines. Today, the Superdome exists in a strange duality, operating as a world-class modern entertainment venue while simultaneously carrying the weight of its complex haunted history. Paranormal investigators and folklore enthusiasts frequently include the stadium in discussions of America's most haunted sports arenas, arguing that the sheer volume of human suffering concentrated there during Katrina left an indelible psychic imprint on the structure. Whether one views the stories of ghosts and curses as genuine supernatural phenomena, or as psychological manifestations of a city's collective grief, the legends of the Superdome reflect the broader spirit of New Orleans, a city intimately acquainted with death, survival, and the enduring presence of the past.
There you have it. So that's what we have about the Superdome, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna cut the spirit talker on again. But I also want to get some information about City Hall over here across the street. I want to get some insight. I call it insight. I want to get a little bit of insight, you know, because City Hall, if them walls could talk, if the walls could talk, the City Hall, if them walls could talk. What's the face for, Juicy? What's going on here? What's going on?
Argument.
Argument? No, there's no argument, Spirit Talker. She just put a weird emoji in the comments. But no argument here. I don't do arguing. I am 40 years old. I already know.
A brutalist beacon of local bureaucracy, rising as a stark monument of mid-century brutalist architecture, New Orleans City Hall at 1300 Perdido Street stands in sharp contrast to the historic charm of the nearby French Quarter. Opened in 1956 under Mayor de Lesseps' story Shep Morrison, the massive, austere complex was designed to centralize the city's municipal government, consolidating offices that had previously been scattered across various aging landmarks. Its monolithic concrete facade and rigid geometric lines epitomize the modernist push of the 1950s, aiming to present an image of efficiency, transparency, and progress for a rapidly evolving metropolis. Yet, despite its utilitarian design and the sterile, fluorescent-lit corridors within, the building has earned a dark reputation that extends far beyond the realm of local politics, slowly morphing into a repository for the city's deep-seated anxieties and restless spiritual lore. Shadows of the old charity hospital. To understand the spectral energy believed to saturate the foundations of City Hall, one must look to its immediate surroundings and the historical layers of the land upon which it was built. The complex sits in close proximity to the historic footprint of old medical facilities and the sprawling, abandoned monolith of Charity Hospital, an institution that for centuries treated the city's most destitute, infectious, and critically ill residents. Yellow fever epidemics, cholera outbreaks, and traumatic violence frequently overwhelmed these nearby municipal zones, leaving behind a dense historical residue of suffering and sudden death. Paranormal investigators and local historians often suggest that the sheer volume of human tragedy embedded in the surrounding soil has acted as a spiritual conduit, allowing restless energies from the neighborhood's grim past to seep directly into the modern municipal complex. The hauntings of the upper floors. Within the interior of City Hall, the upper levels, particularly the executive suites, council chambers, and restricted document archives, are frequently cited as hotbeds of unexplained activity. Employees working late into the night, long after the bustling crowds of daytime citizens have departed, report a heavy, suffocating atmosphere that settles over the empty cubicles. Distinct audio anomalies are common. The sound of heavy, unseen footsteps echoing down long tiled hallways, the frantic clicking of typewriter keys or computer keyboards in dark, unoccupied offices, and the sudden, chilling sound of disembodied whispers uttering the names of current staff members. Security guards conducting routine midnight patrols have documented instances where locked doors suddenly unlatch and swing open on their own, accompanied by localized drops in temperature that leave witnesses with an undeniable sense of being intensely watched. Residual spirits of the basement and sub-levels. Deep beneath the bureaucratic surface, the subterranean basements and maintenance tunnels of City Hall hold an even more sinister reputation among the building's nocturnal staff. This subterranean labyrinth, used for utility routing and historical record storage, is characterized by its damp air and oppressive silence. Maintenance workers and engineers have reported encountering full-bodied apparitions, including the distinct figure of a man in vintage mid-20th century attire who appears to be reviewing maintenance logs before vanishing entirely into solid concrete walls. Electrical equipment in these lower levels routinely malfunctions without logical explanation, with lights flickering rhythmically and security cameras capturing strange, fast-moving anomalies and translucent mists drifting through the secure, motion-locked corridors. The external spectral gateway. The hauntings of New Orleans City Hall are not confined strictly to its interior walls. The exterior grounds, concrete plazas, and adjacent parking structures are equally steeped in supernatural lore. Late-night commuters and pedestrians passing the complex during the early morning hours have reported seeing shadowy figures pacing the rooflines and upper exterior balconies, silhouettes that dissolve into nothingness when approached with direct light. The stark, open-air concrete plaza that surrounds the building is said to trap residual energies from the historic street grid it replaced, with witnesses claiming to hear the distant, faint sounds of historical wagon wheels, disembodied cries of distress, and the sudden, overwhelming scent of old medical antiseptics wafting through the humid Louisiana night air, a lingering legacy of unrest. Ultimately, the persistent rumors of hauntings inside and outside New Orleans City Hall reflect the unique cultural fabric of a city where the past is never truly dead or buried. The juxtaposition of cold, modern government efficiency with the chaotic, ghost-laden history of New Orleans creates a fascinating paradox for paranormal enthusiasts and locals alike. Whether these phenomena are purely psychological products of the stressful, high-stakes political environment within the building, or genuine residual hauntings stemming from centuries of nearby medical tragedies and urban upheaval, City Hall remains a compelling testament to the idea that even the most clinical, concrete structures cannot fully escape the deep, lingering spirits of the Crescent City.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to do another one, which is right behind me, and that would be the Xavier College of Medicine, right here. I wanted to do this one, straight up.
The Hyatt House on Poitras Street stands as a contemporary fixture in the New Orleans skyline, yet it rests upon layers of history that many locals and paranormal enthusiasts believe contribute to an underlying supernatural energy. Located near the bustling Caesar Superdome in the central business district, the modern facade of the hotel contrasts sharply with the centuries of urban evolution, tragedies, and shifting terrains that define the land beneath it. In New Orleans, a city deeply rooted in spiritual traditions and haunted lore, even the newest architectural structures can inherit the restless spirits of the past, as the soil itself carries the weight of historic battles, devastating yellow fever epidemics, and forgotten burial grounds. Guests who check into this vibrant hub of hospitality often seek comfort and convenience, but some walk away with chilling tales that suggest the building's sleek, modern walls cannot completely contain or quiet the echoes of the city's restlessly haunted history. Among the most frequent supernatural occurrences reported at the property are sudden, inexplicable temperature drops that defy the building's advanced climate control systems. Visitors and overnight guests have noted that certain corners of the rooms or specific corridors on the upper floors will abruptly plunge into an icy chill, accompanied by a heavy, suffocating atmosphere that leaves them feeling as though they are being intensely watched by an unseen presence. These cold spots are often dismissed initially as standard air conditioning drafts, but the persistence of the phenomenon, frequently occurring in sealed rooms with the heating units running, leaves many convinced that a spiritual entity is manifesting nearby. This unsettling sensation of an invisible observer watching from the shadows creates an eerie juxtaposition against the hotel's brightly lit, upscale design, turning a routine walk down the hallway into a tense encounter with the unknown. In addition to thermal anomalies, the auditory disturbances reported by guests add a deeply unsettling layer to the hotel's haunted reputation. Late at night, when the heavy city traffic on Poitras Street finally subsides, the quiet corridors occasionally echo with the faint, distinct sounds of phantom footsteps pacing back and forth on the floors above. What makes these sounds particularly unnerving to patrons is that they frequently originate from rooms or floor levels that are completely unoccupied or undergoing maintenance at the time. Some witnesses have even described hearing the distant, muffled sound of old-fashioned music, or low, indistinguishable whispers echoing through the ventilation shafts, as if a bygone era is trying to communicate through the modern infrastructure. These auditory echoes disrupt the peaceful night's sleep of unsuspecting travelers, serving as a lingering reminder that the past is never truly dead in New Orleans. The activity is not limited to sounds and temperature changes, as staff and guests alike have reported strange, poltergeist-like manipulation of physical objects within the rooms. Electronic devices, including the bedside television sets and digital alarm clocks, have been known to turn on or switch channels entirely on their own, often waking guests in the dead of night to static-filled screens or sudden bursts of sound. Personal belongings left on desks or nightstands have allegedly been found misplaced or moved across the room when guests return from a day of exploring the city. Housekeeping staff, who navigate the property during its quietest hours, have occasionally reported finding freshly made beds subtly disturbed, with faint indentations on the sheets suggesting that an invisible entity had briefly lain down to rest. While concrete historical accounts tying specific tragic events directly to the exact footprint of the Poitras structure are subject to local debate, many paranormal investigators argue that the proximity to historic transit lines and older commercial districts makes it a prime location for residual hauntings. In a city where the water table is remarkably high and the ground is constantly shifting, local lore dictates that spiritual energy can travel along ancient pathways, embedding itself into whatever new structures are erected above. The Hyatt House sits in an area that has witnessed the rapid transformation of New Orleans from a colonial port to a massive metropolitan center, absorbing the collective emotions, grief, and energy of the countless individuals who lived, worked, and passed away in the immediate vicinity over the centuries. Ultimately, whether one views these eerie phenomena as genuine interactions with the paranormal, or merely the overactive imaginations of travelers immersed in New Orleans' spooky atmosphere, the stories surrounding the Hyatt House on Poitras continue to circulate. The hotel remains a popular choice for those visiting the Crescent City, offering an enticing blend of modern luxury and the thrilling possibility of a supernatural encounter. For the curious traveler or the seasoned ghost hunter, a stay at this location serves as a perfect reminder that in New Orleans, the line between the present day and the spirit world is incredibly thin, and a brush with the unexplained can happen just as easily in a contemporary high-rise as it can in a centuries-old French Quarter mansion.
There you go. Got real windy out here. Yeah, we might have to cut this short. Damn, what the hell that was? Sound like some glass broke just now. Y'all heard that? hell that was? Boy, what's going on out here? Let me see what's going on here. Yeah. There's some glass. That's not something you hear every day. That talker said more and it said Katie. So Katie Moore. Moore. We just heard the glass breaking. I don't see no glass on the ground. This is what happens when these movies. Glass breaking. I mean, it sounded like a vase or something that just broke into a million pieces. I don't know, y'all. It's windy out here. Yeah, we gonna cut this thing short.
Brandon Knox Photography and Video.